Welcome to episode 9 of Dungeon Crawl Talk Soup. In this episode, I talk with my friend Chad about all things cyberpunk. Movies, books, comic books, music. I mean everything. And no fear hiatus this episode. Enjoy. In case this is your first time watching Dungeon Crawl Talk Soup, my show is one part podcast with my friends, one part perilous permadeath gaming challenge. Mostly I chat with my friends about a topic they love, but rarely get the chance to talk about at length, but at the same time, I'm trying to get my first win at Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. The catch is, if my character dies, the episode ends. Hope you enjoy the show. Okay, and we're live. Now they can hear us. And we're live. That's your cue, everybody.
We are live. Interesting. Okay, well we'll have to address any questions as they come in, if and when they come in.
Exactly. I have one or two other friends that come and ask or chat and talk with me besides you. I think last time, last episode, you came into the episode like...
I think it was like halfway, right?
Yeah, but it was like 2 minutes after my other listener quit listening for the day.
Was it your dad?
No.
No?
I'd like my dad to come watch, but he hasn't yet.
Yeah.
No, my friend Brenner comes in and watches really often. Yeah.
I saw Brenner's comments when I got in there.
Okay, got it. So they're there.
I kind of was like, oh, okay. I saw the action.
Somebody's been here with action, yeah. Okay, so welcome to the show, Chad. Okay, say hi to everybody in the internet.
Hey, interwebs. I'm Chad. I'm Travis's friend, and I'm very honored to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. This is episode 9 of Dungeon Crawl Talk Soup. I'm your host, Travis. Now, in case this is your first time here, the premise is that I'm going to chat with my friend Chad about whatever topic he chose. He told me ahead of time what we were going to talk about, which I'm very excited about, but sometimes I don't know ahead of time. And then while that's happening, I'm going to play Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. And if I die playing Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, the episode ends. We're just going to stop talking to all of you, and Chad and I are going to go do some other stuff, and then that's the end of the show. The interesting thing for you to know, Chad, although I think you know this, because you watched the last episode, we have 2 episodes under our belt playing as this specific character, as Beef Boderham V.
Okay.
Beef Boderham V is in his 3rd episode, but the thing is, we haven't gotten that far because during the last episode, I took a long, what we have now called a fear hiatus.
Because you didn't want to kill your character.
Because I didn't want to die. I wanted the conversation to go on longer. We started a fear hiatus. We're not going to do a fear hiatus tonight, okay? So if I start to get into trouble...
We're doing it live.
We're going to do it live, and the episode will end when it ends, and then you and I will go talk and do whatever we want after the show.
Okay.
I'm not going to hang up on you.
That sounds fair. Just so I know, I mean, like, as you know, I'm somewhat familiar with the game. I've played it a few times. What floor are you on?
That's a great point. So I was going to bring that up, that Chad is the one person in my life, that I've exposed this game to, and I think I briefly got him minorly addicted to it. And I'd love to hear
a bit, but yeah.
How far you went down the rabbit hole. But but to answer your question, I'm on floor 6 of D6, so I haven't even made it to the lair yet.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Our boy here has a really sweet amulet called the Amulet of Tajathrio. Pretty cool. Let's look at it closer.
You nailed that pronunciation.
Yeah, the first time.
First time.
The Slay is really good. Adds accuracy and damage to melee weapons.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Big problem is it prevents most forms of teleportation, so we have to be very careful not to get too close to any dudes, because they will... I won't be able to escape as easily.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, I'm up to speed on this.
I also have a pair of kinky boots. We've talked about these kinky boots quite a bit. They're not special. I've talked about the boots a lot, and I love them.
Yeah.
They are
great
red.
Musical as well. Yep.
Bright red boots. Yes, great musical. I haven't seen it, but I've been informed I'm supposed to go see it.
Must see.
And we will really quickly use this identity scroll to find out what... I'm looking for a curing potion, but I also want a acquirement scroll. What do you think? Which one should I choose?
Yeah, so I'm looking at these. It's kind of like you have no idea because it's all procedurally generated, right?
Yes, the only thing we know is it's not the things we've already found.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not heal wounds.
Let's KY, huh? Okay. Maybe let's do the Evu route.
Evu route, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, enchant weapon. That's a nice one. Let's use it right now.
Ooh.
Yes.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Okay, we're getting stronger. Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
We're glowing now. We're glowing red.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So I wandered you down the rabbit hole of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup a little bit at some point. How far did you get addicted?
I think I did three. I did 3 characters. I don't know. Do you want to call them sprites, tunes, however you want to call it? I think the furthest I got was down to the 7th level of the dungeon, and I also was playing Minotaur, and I remember having a ton of buffs and was slaughtering everything, and I was like, I can go to the end of the game at this rate. I thought I was invincible, and then I think like 30 seconds later I was completely dead.
Yes,
because I was just swarmed with mobs. So
it can happen fast.
I was like, I guess I should have listened to Travis when he told me about this, but it's tough, but it's fun, and I actually really want to hop back in now that we're looking at it again and try something else. I think I tried another species as well.
One of my favorite species to play is the octopode. It's a
octopus and a toad.
It's an octopus, humanoid octopus. I think, and it has 8 limbs, so you can wear 8 rings. But you can't put on any armor or anything because none of the armor fits it. So it's very squishy and very easy to defeat, except for that you can put on all sorts of rings.
But it has like 8 buffs going on.
Yeah, it can have 8 buffs,
like passive buffs or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. I might try that, actually.
But it's really tough. It's in the tough list, so you gotta be careful.
Nice.
So I'm gonna wander around a while, and I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go slowly though, not gonna like rush things, but I'm not gonna take a fear hiatus this time. But I still reserve the right to forget that I'm playing the game, which is what I consistently do.
Yeah, maybe my goal is to have you so wrapped around my finger that you don't even remember to play the game, and then we can talk forever.
Well, that speaks to what the point of this show is that like I want to have conversations with my friends about the thing that they could absolutely rant about for long periods of time. And that brings us to the fact that what you told me that you wanted to have said rants about. And I want to just really briefly, before you bring up your rant topic, I said to you, well, I'm sure you have people around you that let you talk about your topics quite a bit, and your wife Terry lets you talk to her about all the topics, so I'm sure that happens. And you said, not so much.
I can, let me explain that before we hop in here.
Okay.
So, yes, asterisk, like with an asterisk next to it. So mostly no, but if it's a currency in our house, like storytelling is a currency in our house. Terry loves telling stories. Terry, my wife, she loves telling stories. She will watch a movie but have read everything about it from the director to the actor's hometown.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
birthplace, right? But she and I don't have a lot of interests that cross. We have some, but like when it comes to some of the nerdy, I'm a huge geek, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love nerdy stuff. And Terry, she likes like Marvel movies and action movies, things like that. But she's more into like K-pop and Taylor Swift and a lot of those types of things. So
an earlier story on the show, I talked about going to a K-pop night outing with Terry. So
yeah, I remember that night. You guys brought home. We'll just go on. Anyway, so. I will. So Terry loves telling stories. I love telling stories as well. If people are interested, but sometimes there's not really an audience. So I make a deal with Terry. I'll listen to her stories if she will listen to mine.
I think the phrasing of calling it a currency in your house is so perfect. I've witnessed this exact thing. The fact that you two are very giving of your time to listen to each other's stories, even though those stories are not in each other's genre, and you listen and and I actually this is actually a little bit of an inspiration for the show too, of the way that the two of you will actually, I don't know, invest in the topics, and just on like every day having of investing in each other's topics, even though I know she does not care about your geeky thing or whatever thing we did that day. We went to a comic book store, which is the world's largest comic book store or
Oh my God,
something,
that was amazing.
it was so incredible. I saw
Mile High Comics.
I saw a $500,000 comic book on the shelf,
Mm-hmm.
and we told her the whole story. We told her all these little mini bits about the story and stuff, and she listened the whole way through. I think my wife just like left the room as soon as the story started.
She might have like tucked and rolled out of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Terry's good about that, but it depends because there's an entertainment factor to it, right? So anyway, if I listen, she'll be like, "Can I tell you?" She always prefaces, "Can I tell you about this?"
Yes,
and
you do the
sometimes
same.
I'm like, "No, you can't. I don't want to hear about that shit." Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. She's like, "Can I tell you about?" What was a good one recently? She's like, "Can I tell you about?" Oh God, what was it? Can I tell you about the new bra that Kim Kardashian came out with? I'm like, no.
Not that one. Not that one.
But I managed to, catch that anyway through osmosis. But anyway, so
okay. So tell me about the bra. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Someday Terry can come on and tell me all about the Kardashian
that might
bras.
be Terry's topic.
And that day, I will listen and I will love it because that's the premise. I want to hear the stories and I want to hear about things that you love.
Well, the origin of that rule, I suppose, was that we were driving one time from Cape Cod back to New York when we were living in Brooklyn, and I told Terry the entire lore of Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, we're gonna have that conversation too, right?
No, we're not having that conversation right now. But that was a 6-hour storytelling session for her, pretty much. So I basically am kind of still in her debt.
Oh, you banked. So you took out a big loan. You took out a massive mortgage.
Exactly.
And you're listening to bra stories for the next
I'm not
200
gonna
years.
I'm not gonna put people through that. But one thing I've been wanting to talk about is the cyberpunk genre.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to have this full conversation about the cyberpunk genre. I know only a little bit, but a lot of it has been through stuff that we've done together. And then recently I read a book, 2 cyberpunk books this year, interestingly enough. And I have a ton of questions for you about cyberpunk, and I want to get started on that. Before we do, I just want to give one quick update in the game here.
Yeah,
no, I'm not about to die.
Okay.
Usually when I give an update about the game, people think that I've died. Oh, you're going to watch this time.
I'm watching it, yeah.
Most people... it's totally optional whether you watch.
You can narrate what's happening, though.
So this is the exciting part, is that if you watched episode 8 of Dungeon Crawl Talk Soup, you saw that we came upon this triple door here before, and I told Kelly that I was like, nope, that's a bad guy room. I'm not going in there. That's too scary.
Yep.
Lo and behold, we've opened the door, and we have found the shrine to the god of choice, the one and only Akawaru. And Akawaru is the only god that we will pray to in Dungeon Crawl Talk Soup. We will always be a Minotaur, we will always be a fighter, and we will always go for Akawaru as our god, because he is the god of war, the god of battle, and he loves squishing things, and so do we. So we already worship Akawaru. The lore, in my opinion, is that Beef Boderham already worships Akawaru. He just hasn't gained the powers and gotten Akawaru to notice him yet. So
he hasn't noticed me, senpai, right?
Yes, exactly. He hasn't noticed me.
Okay. Yeah.
And so once we get Akawaru in love with us enough, he will grant us a choice of weapons once, and grant us a choice of armor once. And throughout the thing, he'll also grant us throwing weapons as we go along. And he speeds us up sometimes, and he gives us temporary skills. And on the rare occasion, Akawaru will let us enter into single combat with a foe, and that is, I'm not going to use that very often, but that's a very fun moment when that happens. So
does that give you buffs like a 1v1 kind of situation?
It literally warps you out of the level you're in with the monster of your choice in sight, and then you just 1v1 that monster. And if you win, then they'll warp you back. If you lose, then you're dead.
Wow, that's it's like a I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm all in for that guy right there. Okay. It's like you point at him. It's like the Hulk Hogan point after he gets up and points right at the guy. You!
Called shot, yeah.
Called shot, exactly. So yeah, we're joining.
Nice.
We're
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for not updating us that you're dead
You're welcome. Because
and not actually not being dead.
okay, so I'm excited to talk to you about
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. I think the best place to start is for you to tell me how it came into your life. Like, where did it start for you?
Yeah. So I guess I didn't really know what the word cyberpunk was. I guess but I was a fan before I knew what the word cyberpunk was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
I was a fan of like,
Yeah. What
yeah.
things were you fun of?
Well, the first thing one of my first memories in this, we were talking about, I think we were talking about this movie not too long ago, RoboCop, was one of the first movies I ever saw as a kid, and I was like 5 or 6.
RoboCop is a work of art.
It's so good.
It's set in Detroit.
Yep.
If you're crazy enough to think that RoboCop is not a work of art, then you haven't watched it as an adult. It is the perfect anti-capitalist, like anti-dystopian like world movie. It's so wonderful in its subversiveness. And it's of course it's gory action, and that's fantastic and everything. But it's just so wonderful. Also, I really like the one with Joel Egerton. Or is that his name?
No, Joel Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman is very, very close. I was so close. Joel Egerton is a director of some sort.
Joel Edgerton is another.
Edgerton.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton's another actor, but I like his stuff. But we're gonna go down a rabbit hole of like, this person is Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, we're not going to go down that whole rabbit hole.
It's like, who is this person and how do you say that name? No, I have thoughts on that, by the way.
Okay, go on, start there. It's okay, we'll come back.
I'll come back to RoboCop and why I don't like that movie, but I don't want to go too deep on that.
Got it. Okay,
because I could talk the entire episode about that.
So RoboCop was one of the early influences.
RoboCop,
what else?
Yep. I mean, it goes back. My dad is a nerd too, so like my dad's a total geek. He would like show me all the stuff that I'm not supposed to watch. My dad is hard sci-fi, like Star Trek fan, Star Wars, like everything. RoboCop, Terminator, like everything you can think of. Ridley Scott movies, all that stuff. So like my dad was, and my parents were separated, so my dad would show me all the bad shit, and my mom would get mad. That's like a TLDR of. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I was exposed to a lot of this stuff growing up, and then I realized, oh, this is like, it's not quite sci-fi, right? It's like people are oppressed, and that like there's government control happening, and or corporate control. So that got me going, and then I started reading like cyberpunk literature, and I remember you read Neuromancer this year, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so that was like that's my favorite book of all time. So if that kind of informs how passionate I am about this entire subject. Neuromancer was like, okay, this has everything that I want. It has the high-tech, low-life, right?
Yes.
It has like a rebellious use of technology. I would classify these tropes, like themes around humanity and what it is to be human.
Yes.
And for some, like I gravitate towards that stuff. Like I think growing up, I was a rebellious person, and I was in a punk band and stuff. And I've always been fascinated by that underbelly of society, and that kind of like the places where people don't normally shine a light, what's going on there. And I really love like sci-fi too. So it just kind of marries all those things together of like, that it's a convergence of things I really love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was kind of like and I've been consuming that media ever since.
So did Neuromancer, did you get a hold of that in high school?
Yeah, I did. You know what's funny? I read that, and then like right after that I read Dune. Okay. And those are two of my favorite books I've ever read.
Absolutely.
So like makes sense, right? Very formative years.
But they go different directions, and it's not to say that you're not a fantasy person, but Cyberpunk reigns supreme.
I wouldn't go that far, actually. Like I think I hold fantasy on an equal pedestal.
Oh, okay. But Cyberpunk gets taught. You get less chance to talk about it at length.
No one. Well, I think fantasy is a little bit more prolific, right?
Fantasy's absolutely. It's very tops.
Yeah, and fantasy is like a zoom. If you zoom out, that's an encapsulating genre. I would say there's fantasy, sci-fi, Cyberpunk to me is a sub genre of sci-fi, right?
Yep.
But I would argue, and we'll get into this maybe as well. You're not dead, right? Oh, you got
No.
dragon scales.
I got these dragon scales. They're gonna give me poison resistance, which poison has been my bane. Ooh, it's there. It's yellow. And I got a broad axe of flaming, which is going to be way better than this war axe.
Holy
so war
crap.
axe is.
Nice.
I almost died to that last character, Maggie.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I saw that. It was quick.
I did fine though. So it's 0.23, and I want to get to 16 for that. This is minus 2.28, so it's a little bit hits harder, but it also has flame, which will do 1/4 damage in addition. We want to get to 18 for this, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
But I do want to get a little more throwing and a little more invocations first. What I'll do is once the throwing is to 5 and the invocations are to 5, we'll add some axes into the mix. Whoops, that's all right. We would be doing invocations forever. L5 dot 0.
And what do the invocations do?
This is okay. So when Akuaru likes us enough, he'll let us.
Yep.
He'll let us gain temporary, great but temporary skills, and it'll last longer if our invocations are higher. So if I have very low invocation skills, he'll still let us do it, but it won't last very long. It'll only last like a minute or so.
So it's like a magical endurance kind of thing.
It's like a god endurance. Because there's other stuff for magic. This is specifically for your god skills.
Gods.
Yeah, for Akuaru, the god of smashing.
He's
shit.
literally the god of war, right? Like boy.
I think god of battle, but yeah.
Okay.
God of battle, but pretty much. I think there is another god of war, but he likes battle, and he does require you fight on your own, so no allies.